If I had to sum up today's entire video in a single word, it would be consequences. Few things give me more secondhand embarrassment than watching somebody forget that actions have consequences, especially when that somebody is a big name celebrity, but unfortunately, that's exactly what's going on with Tyler, the Creator, who seems to have created the very problem that he's now complaining about on stage, and I think both he and many of his fans are handling this situation terribly. Tyler, the Creator slams racist Swifties for being mad at him for dethroning her on the music charts. That's a headline you may have seen floating around recently, but I decided to look into the story myself and see what people were saying and what they were mad about, and it's really not that simple. But first, welcome, my name is D'Angelo, and I am your professor of supercalisthenics, which is a very real degree that I definitely do have. Or maybe this is just me broadcasting myself, talking in my room like YouTube used to be. And in today's lecture, we seek to answer the age-old question. Fellas, is it racist to call out misogyny? So who the heck is Tyler, the Creator, and how exactly did he piss off Taylor Swift's fan base? Tyler is a rapper and producer known for his eclectic fashion sense, his self-produced albums, and above all, his unique musical sensibilities, which have made him one of the most listened to figures in the hip-hop industry. Taylor Swift is... Taylor Swift, we don't have to do this. And so the chart upset that started this all is stemming from Tyler's album, Chromacopia. It's a new body of work that he just dropped, and like all of his albums, it's gone incredibly viral, and it's been absolutely dominating charts all over Spotify. As you can see, he's currently ticking up all 5 of the top 5 spots of the most listened to songs in the US. But one of these charts that he made an appearance on was Taylor's domain. Tyler, the Creator, is #1 on the global Spotify top artist charts for the first time since the chart launched. He dethrones Taylor Swift, as this tweet said, and that's a somewhat big story, which is why Twitter took it and ran with it. I saw multiple tweets with over 100,000 likes celebrating this. Now, as Spotify points out, Tyler is a juggernaut in his own right, and he's been on this chart for multiple years straight, but this was the first time he had the #1 spot, until 3 days later, when Taylor Swift continued to be Taylor Swift. So what should have been a fun niche music statistics blip instead turned into a very localized, completely pointless stand war, and news of this seems to have made it all the way to Tyler, the Creator, who responded to it during a concert in this now viral video.
I got Swifties all mad at me with their racist bringing up old lyrics. Go listen to Tron Cat. I don't give a. They gonna bring out the old me.
They're gonna bring out the old me, he says. Go listen to Tron Cat, he doesn't care. So at his behest, I decided to check out the old him by listening to Tron Cat, and whoa, buddy. This is the tweet that seems to have gone the most viral, as Swiftie posted with no real caption, just a bunch of question marks, garnering over 250,000 likes, lyrics to Tron Cat from Tyler, the Creator. And so, I mean, I feel like reading this out loud is just ridiculous. But if I'm uncomfortable, as a man who's not even referenced in the scenario, I can really only imagine how other readers felt about rape a pregnant bee and tell my friends I had a threesome. So Tron Cat is stemming from his 2011 album Goblin, and as Swifties discovered, it's just kind of full of stuff like that, actually. Here he is bragging about sex with quote-unquote no permission, smacking, kidnapping, attacking with axes, choking. Like, this is just absurdly over the top. But I think what really set people over the edge was a lyric about Taylor Swift, actually. Tyler swiftly slips his D inside of Taylor Swift's... Again, I'm sorry, I just don't want to read this. So, as always, when any artist gets called out for something, their fans like clockwork show up with the excuses. And so the working story that I was seeing from multiple Tyler fans throughout this discourse, besides your typical excuses of, it was 2011, he was only 20 when he released this. But no, the biggest thing they cite is that this is fictional. Tyler hasn't done any of these things, and he acknowledged even on the album that this was all part of a story. Here we have lyrics from a track on Goblins in which he says, hey, don't do anything that I say in this song, okay? It's fiction. If anything happens, don't blame me. They also cite the fact that Goblin is supposed to be shocking. After all, it's in the genre of horrorcore. Entertainment Weekly describes it as interwoven dialogue between Dr. TC and Tyler as he gradually spirals into insanity and murders all of his friends, only to learn that this all occurs within the twisted confines of his imagination. So if I could boil this narrative down into 3 words, it's not real, is where the fans are coming from. However, personally, I have some problems with that. This whole satire and being edgy, wait, no, I'm not, it's just a joke, or is it? Super played out. And I really thought we had realized at this point that this was tired. Like, sure, in 2011 when Tyler was doing this, you could get away with saying things were just a persona or whatever. But honestly, this is just extremely cliche behavior that people use as an excuse to say the craziest stuff. And they often seem to take pride in the fact that normies can't tell whether they're being serious or not. I mean, here's Tyler talking about his song Sarah in 2009, a song about killing some girl and eating her body before I kill her, I have her tied up. Fantastic. Anyway, a lot of people are wondering if this song is about my true feelings or thoughts or about a real girl or what. If you're very close to me, you know. If not, dig deep through your imagination to find out. Am I a rapist, guys? I don't know. That's just not cute, bro. It was not cute in 2011, 2009, and it's definitely not something we should be bringing up in 2024 to make people feel dumb for feeling offended at these lyrics. Insane behavior. It was crazy then, it's crazy now. Okay, what in the world? This is an appropriate response. The very top reply being, why are you bringing this up as if he's trying to hide any of his past lyrics? Tyler was a literal edgy and problematic teenager and has shown insane character development and maturity in all of his albums in the last decade. Like, girl, shut up. I'll talk about the whole shut up and move on narrative in a bit. But my other really big problem with this whole it's not real defense is, and pardon me for stating the obvious, Taylor Swift is real. Hot take. Taylor is actually a real person, even if Goblin, the album, is not. Ergo, referring to her private parts and talking about slipping inside of them in the song is beyond unhinged. I'm not gonna lie to you. If you feel the urge to defend it, you're probably just better off zipping it. Because anybody who is trying to make excuses for this sounds crazy to anybody else. I'm telling you that as somebody who has listened to Tyler's music before. Not Troncat, by the way. I was apparently 13 years old when this dropped, but jeez, dude. And I think part of the reason this is bubbling over the way it is because this has actually been going on for years. People are trying to cancel Tyler again for old tweets. That wasn't Tyler tweeting, that was Troncat. Check your facts. Like, even if that's a joke, I really need people to think about the optics here. Not only are we trying to provide context for why your favorite artist is talking about raping people in his music, but that explanation involves Troncat / Psych Kitty, a fictional entity appearing in the Bastard Wolf Goblin trilogy, which speaks to Tyler in his mind, telling him to do evil things such as murder, rape, and cannibalism. I'm so sorry, but if your explanation involves a cat head with a rainbow outline, cut out eyes, and an upside down cross on its forehead, you sound crazy right now. Like, babe, you don't understand. There's like lore. There's like a whole trilogy. Basically, you got to listen to this album, and then you got to go find this other album. It's on Spotify, and then you got to go stream this other album. But once you get it, you realize that Tyler was basically a genius. Also, speaking of Troncat tweeting, I'm going to be honest, the tweets in question are actually far worse than the songs, in my opinion. And by the way, this isn't Troncat tweeting. Tyler made no indication that these were not his real feelings. Selena Gomez is now 18, so she can now legally take me in her. You can read for yourself. Selena Gomez is gonna take me. I just want Selena Gomez in her mouth. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have Victoria Justice, Selena Gomez, Dakota Fanning, and Miley Cyrus and Selena are all going to take me whether they like it or not. Effing broads. Dude, I'm sorry if you're gonna sit there and tell me this was normal behavior in 2010. Click off the video. You're probably gonna hate the rest of it. You know darn well that a 19-year-old tweeting this was unhinged. And it's like, I can already hear the excuses. Music is just music. Are you gonna get mad at a Marvel movie because they kill people? You've never tweeted anything bad when you were 19 about raping people? No. But go ahead and explain away the fact that he talked like this in real life. This is like old stuff that I feel like most people haven't even seen. But what the heck?
I'm gonna keep it honest. I will Selena Gomez like it's no tomorrow.
You should.
Nah, we don't really get along.
Make it
She
right.
don't like me.
Oh, but she don't like you, Tyler. I wonder why. This age excuse is wearing a little thin, too. He just seems to be getting older and older.
I will Taylor Swift off top.
Yeah.
That little frail little white bitch. She'll get it off top.
Yeah.
Describing somebody as frail and little in a discussion about whether or not you would have sex with them is rapey. If it's coming from somebody tweeting about actually raping people, it's rapey. If it's coming from somebody with a bunch of rape lyrics on their album, I don't have to keep repeating this. We get the point. And so now we move on to the next fan excuse. He apologized. First of all, let me clear something up. Y'all might want to stop saying he apologized, because me desperately trying to find these valid apologies that supposedly exist, that is what actually led to me finding these other horrible clips, like in this essay defending him, which has thousands of likes, because this is kind of the standard defense. The tweets that he dedicated to Selena Gomez are highly disrespectful and out of place. However, to be fair, Tyler has apologized many times and stated that he's very embarrassed about the controversial things he said in the past. By the way, Goblin is the only album where he talks about these questionable and unethical topics. Oh, buddy, no, it's not. I had no idea until recently that his discography actually goes back before Goblin. It's just kind of not on Spotify. And that's where we get the song about killing and eating a woman, where you got to use the depths of your imagination to figure out whether it's real. But anyway, I scoured the web to see if I could find some sort of widely reported instance of him saying he's embarrassed of his lyrics. And I'm going to be honest, Tyler, the creator, does not seem nearly as apologetic as even I thought he was. Like on the song Manifesto, which he released in 2021, which I think is his most commonly cited apology, he says, I came a long way from my past. It's obvious. Internet bringing up old lyrics like I had that. Where's your address? I could probably probably send you a copy. I was canceled before Twitter, protesting outside my shows. I gave them the finger. And he says, I was a teener tweeting Selena crazy stuff. I didn't want to offend her. I apologized when I seen her back when I was trying to F Bieber, Justin. To my understanding, and y'all are gonna have to pull receipts on me because I am open to this possibility that I have missed it, but this seems to actually be the only apology he has ever offered for Goblin. And he doesn't really seem very apologetic at all. Like, yeah, if he offered her an apology, that's great. Needless to say, Selena Gomez wasn't the only person he was talking about though. And it all kind of seems to be wrapped up in an excuse. But when I find him actually giving details about Goblin, like in this 2019 interview with GQ, where GQ said his music has aged well, and he said some of it has aged well, some of it. I think Goblin is horrible. I think Bastard, aka I Killed Her and Ate Her, is cool. The only songs I would keep from Goblin are Yonkers, She, Nightmare, Tron Cat, aka the song about raping pregnant women, and Fish, which is the one with that clunker of a Taylor Swift line, Analog, etc. I don't know how his fan base has interpreted I think Goblin is horrible as like I'm apologetic for the things I was saying, because he's clearly not. Like, I have him here in 2023 and I don't know, bro.
Goblin is terrible, but I still love it. It's an energy and an aura that it has, and I still think Yonkers is awesome. She is awesome. The first two versions of Nightmare is ill. Tron Cat's still awesome. Analog's still cool. Like, it's still a few things on there.
I actually genuinely think when he says, oh, this album was terrible, he's referring to the song quality, not actually the content.
A lot of the songs on that album were just like random songs I recorded after Goblin that we kind of just... Yeah, I got these songs.
If you want to somehow interpret this as Tyler doesn't even like Goblin, he doesn't even stand behind it anymore, knock yourself out. But it is kind of giving fan delusion, I have to be honest. And so with this additional context, I would like to revisit his original rant that started this all, because now I can properly explain why I think it's just terrible.
I got swifties all mad at me with their racist bringing up old lyrics. Go listen to Tron Cat. I don't give a they gonna bring out the old me.
Jumping to racism is corny. I'm not gonna sit here and mince words from one black man to another. Bro, we know what you're doing. You're just mad. You're mad that you're being called out. And so you're like, well, actually, racism. And here's the thing though. What I'm not going to do is sit here and act like he's wrong. In doing research for this video, what do I find? Racism. Sure, people calling him a monkey and telling him to get back to the dirty hood where he came from may not have been getting hundreds of thousands of likes, but they were there. I went to their profiles, I scrolled through to see, did you have more than 10 Taylor Swift tweets? They absolutely did. There are racist Swifties calling him out. And yeah, some of y'all were mad because a black man upset your queen. I've seen a lot of people trying to completely devalue Tyler's claims of racism existing. And I'm not going to lie, it's giving racism. I mean, you've got people on Twitter right now just racking up the likes. This has gotten thousands of likes since I started recording this video. Hyping up Azalea Banks for being homophobic? Like, I knew he was gay, but why is it giving weird delusional cornball now? High key, why do all the gay black male rappers come for Taylor Swift so much? Like, Kanye and Tyler really wish they were a white woman. It's kind of messed up and hilarious. Oh, God, you're the worst. Azalea Banks makes me embarrassed to live on the same planet. But let's use our brains here. This tweet is for racist Swifties, okay? She is a troll, she wants attention, and she knows how to get it. And what happens? They're out here. Even a broken clock is right at least twice a day. Get him for me, queen. Oh, Azalea, end him. End him for us Swifties, yes. So does Taylor Swift have a racism problem in her fan base? The simplest answer to that is Taylor Swift's fan base made up of people? Have a group, a large number of people congregated into one place? Then the answer is yes, there's going to be a racism problem because people be racist. However, there are black Swifties. Kind of ridiculous to reduce her whole fan base to racism when there are actually people of color who are trying to exist and enjoy some music. And also, despite the prevalence and the loudness, I did still have to scroll past a lot of genuine criticism before I saw it. Can we please stop acting like nobody in this scenario has a racial motivation? But on the flip side, Tyler's absolutely trash for trying to reduce this valid criticism to the people who were being racist while ignoring everybody else. Allow me to say it, because I know some of y'all can't. That's some whacked out energy. Oh my God, D'Angelo said Tyler the Creator's not allowed to call out racism. Get out. Also, bro, this was not just a Swiftie issue. Like, the amount of people I saw who were not Swifties and were like, what are these lyrics? I am pulling a random account from Reddit as anecdotal evidence. To be fair, as someone who is completely indifferent to Swift, his old lyrics are effing disgusting. You don't sing about graphic rape and murder and then whine about people being upset. It doesn't matter if the lyrics are old, they're disgusting. If a friend of mine spoke that way, they would no longer be my friend. Y'all have to touch grass if you are in Tyler's fan base and your first instinct is to defend him. He's out here on stage saying you're gonna bring out the old me. Does that sound like somebody who has actually changed and grown as much as they need to? In fact, I think a lot of his fans need to realize there's a difference between moving on from something and growing from it. Like, there's this narrative in pop culture. There's this New Yorker article called Tyler the Creator Grows Up. Tyler the Creator trades teenage angst for mature introspection. Listen, if you relate to Tyler's journey of self-discovery, I love that for you. But to an outsider, can you not see how this is just somebody who bragged about raping people, made actual rape threats towards existing women, said he still stands behind the songs on which a lot of these rape lyrics occurred, and to this day seems to still have opinions about the fact that people still bring this up, all while being lauded for doing the growth, the change. One thing I've really been trying to break myself out of is like, I am way too used to this narrative of people doing really awful things that affect a certain group of people and then just completely ditching it while not really doing much to rectify any of it and getting hyped up and applauded for changing. I used to fall for that so bad anytime it would happen. And so that's why, despite my actual pro-Tyler bias, I came into the story trying to see past the fan nonsense for a second. And my conclusion is anybody who is actually upset about what he's saying is completely within their right to be. Here I am in 2020 when he had already made his grown-up move to more normal music. And this was the first Tyler album I caught as it rolled out.
His album Igor deserved all the Grammy Awards. Best country, best instrumental, I don't care. It deserved every single Grammy at the show.
And truthfully, I still stand by that. I feel like Tyler fans feel like they're being asked to like rewrite their opinion of his music. His music can still mean something to you. You don't have to intrude in spaces where people are freaked out about rape lyrics about their favorite artists. And personally, I think I represent a lot of people in his fan base. Because again, I was a child from 2007 to 2011, so I kind of missed Odd Future, Bastard Goblin. I didn't listen to Wolf. I didn't listen to Cherry Bomb. Flower Boy, songs from there popped up in my autoplay when I was driving to school one day. And then Igor is where he really got me. I never did a retrospective into his legacy. I was just reading the articles that were coming out. Hey, this guy has changed and grown a lot. He used to make crazy music. Look what he's doing now. I was also one of the many people who valued his outspokenness. In 2020, kind of right when Igor was happening, he called out the Grammys for their urban category, which is basically just a racist way of keeping black people out of their other awards. And so I liked him. I thought he was cool. The music was great. I found him funny.
Had bacon and syrup.
I'm not finished.
I kind of still quote this to this day. And so I bring all this up to point out, you don't have to be performative. You don't gotta go and scrub all the Tyler songs from your Spotify history. He's not making music about raping people, so you don't even gotta feel bad about listening to it. And if you're just so attached to Goblin, like you just can't let it go, fine. But liking someone's music and thinking they're talented, these are not excuses to act like an unhinged stan and basically just gas Tyler up and support this big-headed notion that like, oh, these are just racists who are mad at me. Nah, fam. Actions have consequences. I find the fan reaction to be so interesting. Like there's this video from L Literacy, which I watched the other day. I thought it was really good, by the way, called The Myth of the Great Male Genius Needs to Die. And she kind of pointed this out.
Wrapped up in the myth of the genius is the stereotype that they're eccentric, maybe even insane. Like, you can't talk about Van Gogh without talking about his mental illness and his severed ear. It's believed that the mind of the genius is too great to even conform to social norms.
And she brings up a good point, which I would like to apply to this situation. A lot of this trying to pass all his old music and give it an excuse, y'all would not be doing this if the music did not slap. And I know that in the bottom of my heart. Like if Tyler had dropped some music and you're like, bro, this is garbage, and that was the music that had all the whacked out stuff on it, ain't nobody would be bending over backwards and doing backflips about magical rainbow kitties to explain why it was happening the way it was happening. The cultural framework is already in existence to excuse men for being crazy when you think they're talented. And that is what allowed Tyler to flourish at that time. And the way that that attitude won't die is why he's still kind of getting excused for it even today.
So they've often been excused from social rules and could indulge in vices or behavior that would have been deemed unacceptable from a non-genius.
Like, you cannot sit here and tell me she's not spitting right now. You know what I mean? It makes sense. And so making this video for me, at first I was like, uh-oh, is this a minefield? I like some of Tyler's music. I've talked about liking his music publicly. But no. Here's a post from 5 years ago in his subreddit where Tyler is experiencing the consequences of his actions, aka his Twitter account being locked because he talked about at Selena Gomez, wanna lick my gooch. Great. And he posts this complaining, saying, I was out of my mind. And the top comments like, this is stupid. It's been 8 years. I'm pretty sure this is because of Selena Gomez stans discovering these old tweets and making a big deal out of it. Yeah, it's not Not a big deal. What do you mean? He talks about this on his new album too, Chromacopia. White boys mocking this and they're mad at me. Y'all can suck my D. Pull up old tweets, old t-shirts, all that. I'll moonwalk over them. See, I changed like the fit got dirty. I was young, then I hit 30. I was a 1 mil, then I hit 30. It's so weird how anytime he talks about changing, he like immediately brings up his wealth as well. But anyways, he and his fans are genuinely so stuck right now. New fans discover old Tyler tweets 4 days ago. Top comment, this always happens every time he releases an album. It's engagement farming. It's a blue check. Bro, coming from somebody who at one point described Tyler as my favorite person because I really just loved his aesthetics and the way he would stand up for things, etc. Y'all gotta stop. Because regardless of how funny you find him or how much you relate, this just looks crazy. And so I guess my ultimate verdict is, as long as Goblin remains on Spotify for new people to discover, which is how music kind of works, as long as you want to continue to profit from it, I just think you look dumb for bristling at people bringing up old content that you designed to shock and enrage and calling them out for being shocked and enraged. Like you can say, oh, he said he doesn't care in the clip. Bro, he wasn't even on Twitter in the clip. He was in real life. He actually touched grass. And Swifties on Twitter were still living in his head rent-free. This is tragic. There is nuance in this situation. There are a lot of moving parts, which is why I tried to go over them all. But really, I just have to offer Tyler some advice. Ha 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 ha. How the F is cyberbullying real? Ha 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 ha. Just walk away from the screen. Like, close your eyes. Ha ha. Signed, Tyler the Creator. Take your 2012 advice and move on because this is pitiful. But that's my take on the situation. Dave's take is, and I quote, wait, Tyler and Taylor are two different people? And I'm of course excited to hear your take. I mean, this is the part of the video where a layman would ask you to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment, but I will ask you to enroll, evaluate the video, and submit your feedback. Because I'm of course running a 100% completely, totally, all the way, okay, maybe not really, somewhat unaccredited university. Probably. Just ask anybody in the student body and they'll confirm it for you. We're totally legit. And as for me, whether you'll see me in 24 hours or 24 months is honestly anyone's guess. But until then, thanks for watching. Your homework for today, for some of y'all, is to touch grass. And this is coming from the man whose entire job is being terminally online.